You're listening to Vancouver Co-op Radio, CFRO 100.5 FM. We're coming to you from the unceded traditional territories of the Squamish, Musqueam, and Tsleil-Waututh nations around Vancouver, BC. I'm your host, Bernadine Fox, and this is the show that dares to change how we think about mental health. Welcome to Rethreading Madness.
When I've never been further from knowing what the hell I'm gonna do, when I can't seem to find my way under or over or through.
You're listening to Rethreading Madness on Vancouver Co-op Radio, CFRO 100.5 FM. I'm Bernadine Fox, and today I'm speaking with people who sort of come to us through a new thing that's happening in Vancouver. And I say new, and then I wonder if it's actually new, but Isabella can tell us how new it is. It's called A Word About Mental Health. It's the possibility of getting together with like-minded people and having a discussion about literary stuff and mental health and how they go together. So we're here with Isabella Mori, Léa Taranto, and Lynn. So welcome, Isabella. This is not the first time you and I have had a chat here on Rethreading Madness. I'm glad to have you back.
Hello.
Can you tell us about A Word About Mental Health? Where did it come from? What happened? How did you arrive at doing this?
Okay, so first of all, I should say that I'm a writer and a retired counselor, so I think that's a useful background for all of us. This particular project started with my book, Believe Me, which combines poetry, fiction, interviews, and research about themes in mental health and addiction. And I'm just going to talk a little bit about that, and then how that went into this project, A Word About Mental Health. So when I say mental health, by the way, I mean the broad spectrum of mental health, some of which encompasses what is referred to as mental illness, such as depression or psychosis. But what you find in the book has a much broader scope. For example, there's talk about loneliness and friendship, the emotional experience of intimate partner violence, or in the chapter I will discuss later, the benefits and occasional pitfalls of gratitude. It came out in last April. The whole idea behind the book was that the human mind and emotions are typically described in stories or poetry, personal accounts, and research. And the book Believes Me takes the approach of combining all three elements, which maybe other books have done that. I haven't seen that. And so each chapter starts with a poem or story I wrote with a theme of mental health or addiction, an interview with a person who resonated with a story or a poem, and some research. The research section is on a theme jointly chosen by the person I interviewed and myself as a launching point to capture new insights. So what happened is, that's the book. When I launched it in April last year, both in person and online, I had a surprisingly good reception, and I really enjoyed the online part so much that I decided to want to do more of it. I know there are lots of other people who have written about the topic, so I thought it would be interesting. Léa is one of them, so I thought it would be interesting to invite them for a reading and have a conversation with them and the audience. And that's a really important part. I don't know how much people need me to read to them from my book, but I do know from my work in the field that people want to have conversations. Mm-hmm. I used to coordinate a mental health conference, for example, and the consistent feedback was that people wanted to have more time for Q&A. Only I think actual conversations are more interesting than Q&A. So that's the background.
And so what is A Word About Mental Health?
So what it is, it's an online event where two or more people who write about mental health related subjects, one of them being me, they read a little bit from their work, and then we talk to each other, and then we open up the discussion with the audience. And as I said, that's really the most important part, is the discussion with the audience. And, because it's not scripted, we never know where it goes.
And that actually is sometimes the best part about it all, not knowing where it's going to go, because that gives options of surprises and, things that you couldn't have scripted in, really. So who have you had come and chat with you?
So the last one was with Léa Taranto, who's here with us, who, she will talk about, what she writes about. I had the first one was with two other authors. One of them, Michelle. Oh my God, I'll have to look up her name. She's a friend of mine. I mean, this is, by the way, I have long COVID, so my memory is horrible.
Yeah, you and probably half of my audience, so don't worry, you're in fine company. And I'm sure Michelle will be just fine with the fact
Oh my God. As I said, she's a friend of mine.
that
Unbelievable. And Thomas, whose last name I also don't remember, Michelle wrote some from her poetry that had something to do with depression and being occasionally hospitalized for it. She also has a chronic illness, and so there's, as often is the case, there's definitely a connection between experiences like anxiety and depression and chronic illnesses. And the other, Thomas talked about his book where he spent a lot of time struggling with substance use and gambling, I believe, as well, and his long trek from extricating himself from that, including suicide attempts and everything. So that was the first person. I hope I can remember them all. Luke Kernan was someone else who is doing some really interesting research on psychosis and creativity. I think he has a postdoc fellowship at McGill right now, but he did his doctoral thesis in Victoria. And so, yeah, we had some really interesting conversation with him, and there may have been one more, but definitely, Léa. And the next one is going to be with Dr. Bonnie Nish, who is a well-known, important figure in the literary scene in Vancouver, and who will talk about expressive arts and recovery from brain injury.
those brain injuries are deadly. I've had several of them, and they muck with you in ways that most people don't understand. So are these are a monthly thing that's happened?
Every 2 months.
Every 2 months, okay. And who is your target audience? Who are the people that come to listen and hear and have a conversation?
I think everybody who has come has an varying degrees of interest in mental health and addiction issues, either because they've spent all their lives with it, like I have, or because it has suddenly become an interest because a friend all of a sudden, or they may have become aware all of a sudden that a friend is struggling with something, and anything in between.
Mm-hmm. Well, we know that 1 in 2 of us will have a mental health challenge in our lifetime. So we're at that cusp where what is normal is up for grabs, and mental health challenges are something that most of us need to know something about at some point, either for ourselves or for the people we care about. So this sounds like an important thing, an event that people can come and listen and talk and gain new ideas. So has it turned out to be what you wanted it to be?
I love conversations.
Mm.
When there are two or more people together who can have interesting conversations, I'm really happy.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes.
Yes, I agree with you, Isabella. I think that our ability to discuss things and have conversations and engage with other people is one of the profound things about being a human being, quite frankly. So, um, so we're going to take a little break in a minute, but I was hoping, Isabella, that you could read for us a little bit. Do you have something that you can read?
Yes, I do. So in my book, Believe Me, the last chapter tells a story of good mental health. I interviewed Kathy, who talks about how much better her mental health is compared to when she was younger, when she had a diagnosis of complex PTSD from child sexual abuse. After many years of growing and thriving, this label has become irrelevant. So I'll read the poem that started the conversation and then an excerpt from the interview with Kathy. The poem. Thank you for water, for showers running over my arms. Okay, once again. Thank you for water, for showers running over my arms, for peace among my friends, for fire, for warm socks on my feet, for laughter, for air, for soft winds over the mountains, for love that heals, for the good earth that feeds our herds and carries our dance. So that's the poem, and here's an excerpt from the interview. I asked Kathy, is gratitude part of your mental well-being? I don't think in terms of mental well-being and mental non-well-being for myself. Isn't that great? I'm not constantly checking anymore. How's my mental well-being? How's my mental illness? I don't ask myself those questions anymore. It's more, do I have time to send that gratitude email right now? If I don't have time to send one, then I will read the last one I got and just feel the gratitude for that. Gratitude is part of my life. Was there a time in your life when you felt it useful to check in regarding your mental well-being? Yes. Just about to go into crisis times and the just gone through crisis times. And in those two places, I'd ask myself, when is the storm going to hit? That was before the crisis, and I know it's coming. After the crisis, it was, can I do this thing that's hard without going back into a crisis state? So yeah, there was a time, a long time ago. Earlier, you said that mental well-being wasn't quite the term you would use. What should we call this experience or state then? Maybe it's steadiness. I have steadiness, but it's not a rigid steadiness. What built your steadiness muscles? It's been some important relationships. At a time when I was feeling quite fragile after a medical crisis, I got a part-time job looking after someone completely confined to a wheelchair. I had that job for 3 years. In that job, I had to do things on somebody else's schedule. I had to put my own needs aside, and it showed me that I could do that. It showed me what I can manage and helped me put aside the story about being physically and emotionally broken because it proved that I wasn't. Then there was a training program I took for peer support workers, so switches the narrative about mental illness. The critical thing there was the people first language that is used in the world of disabilities. The problems that the person has, the mental illness, is a portion of their experience, but not that big of a portion. The person is first, not the disability. So at some point I switched, I'm so broken, I have this big thing going on that's a mental illness, don't get near me, to I got this big thing going on and I'm doing this and that and I'm arguing about this other thing. Arguing about things was a big step forward for me too, because as a young person, I learned that I can't argue because my judgment and perceptions can't be trusted because I have this mental illness thing. That was wrong. Is gratitude a tool for you? Are there other tools? There's a big list. I have phone calls on weekend mornings to change the story of weekends are lonely. I have 4 good conversations on a weekend. That's critical for my well-being. One evening a week, I do a peer counseling trade over video chat. Also critical. At least one day during the week, I have a very nice conversation. I love Lego and jigsaw puzzles. I have made it so that I have access to jigsaw puzzles or Lego that's new to me all the time. And there's actually quite a long list of tools Kathy gives. This was just an excerpt.
Well, that's wonderful. And it's nice hearing about what other tools people use to maintain their mental well-being. So thank you. And we're just going to take a little break, folks, but we'll be right back.
Oh, you hear this? A lot of people call this rock and roll swings. This is done with the, let's see, with the left hand, yeah. And the right hand fits in with something like this here. Here we go now.
Yeah, it's called rock and roll, and you can hear all about it on Rock Talk. Discover the hidden but enchanting side of the music. Friday mornings at 9 o'clock.
Oh, if that isn't enchanting, nothing is. Go ahead, kids. Dance. Go crazy.
I've been staring at the coastline, thinking of every choice I've made to leave me here right now, standing on solid ground. And I've been hiding in the shadows, wondering if I'm on the right road, someplace I've never been. Is this how it all begins? Oh, 'cause I've got my best suit on and I'm ready. I've got my sleeves rolled up and I'll be on my way. While my heart's thumping, boom, 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 you're gonna see me rise. Myself to the edge, 'cause we're all looking for a reason. Find a shelter from the storm within. Just keep your eyes ahead and dust yourself off again. Oh, 'cause I've got my best suit on and I'm ready. I've got my sleeves rolled up and I'll be on my way. While my heart's thumping, boom, 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 you're gonna see me rise. Oh, and rise, 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 rise. Oh, 'cause I got my best suit on and I'm ready. I got my sleeves rolled up and I'll be on my way. While my heart's thumping, boom, 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 you're gonna see me rise. You're gonna see me rise. Not how you fall back down, but how you get back up before you hit the ground. You're gonna see me rise. Oh, rise, rise, oh, rise, yeah. You're gonna see me rise. 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 You
Chapter 1. The administrative building's aircon makes my bare arms erupt with goosebumps as I sign paperwork for the certification and transfer to Ward 2. This one needs initials next to each reason justifying my exile to a secure ward. Non-compliance, severe self-harm, aggression. My do shrink Dr. Grant claims it's a safety measure, not a punishment. Liar. As I pass him the form to check, Nurse Margaret comes in. Mary dear, you're going to need to phone your mother and tell her to get you some new clothes. My brow furrows. Something's up. I haven't been anyone's dear since my intake to Ward 1 over a month ago. What's wrong with the clothes I've got? Contamination, Margaret says, staring at my forehead before meeting my eyes. She goes on about how blood's a biohazard. We had to throw out your other belongings too. What the fuck? I don't say anymore. Just run out the office building's front door to the parking lot. When my fingers stop touching the door, I stop breathing. For 45 seconds, my world narrows down to the ritual. Sprinting, airlessness, and the shortening distance between me and the dumpster where the collected trash of the Residency Adolescent Treatment Center lives. Once I touch it, I can breathe. Completing the ritual right consumes me, holds my actual hurt at bay. I'm so focused that I don't notice Dr. Grant until he's in my way. He reaches me after I'm heaving in my second lungful of garbage air. A rotten thing sweetness mixed with the rankness of sour milk and moldy broccoli. I'm about to climb into the bin when, again, he blocks my way, gesturing for me to move back. His loafers have less grip than my sneakers, and he slips. But after a few scrambles, he makes it. He pulls himself over the edge, lands cushioned by giant black plastic bags full of food waste, and worse. Jesus, I can't watch. When he crawls out, he's lugging a garbage bag with him. A dried banana peel flops off its side as he lands. He sets it down and even unties the damn knot before handing it over. Kindness is weird that way, so sharp sometimes that it pierces you. It's the nicest thing a shrink has ever done for me. Eye swimming, I snatch the bag from him, blink away tears to focus on the task ahead. Throw t-shirts, jeans, books, even Stella Bear on the ground until I get to what matters most. Its front and back cover are intact. Phew. A quick flip reveals no missing pages either. Double phew. My journal's with me. It's whole. Standard Ward 2 procedure equals no family visits for 5 weeks. Staying on unit with constant monitoring for 24 hours, hourly room checks, and no sharps like scissors, metal cutlery, or even pens. Ward 2 is bigger than Ward 1 and way more prison-y, in case the giant chain link fence didn't clue you in. Unlike Wards 1 and 3, Ward 2 is under lockdown to make it as hard as possible for kids to go AWOL. The steel-bolted front door opens to the dining room, where a long-ass banquet table has benches, not chairs, on either side. In Ward 1, chairs are easy to throw. These heavy benches, way harder. Every window here has steel mesh, not just the one in the quiet room. And instead of having a stand, the TV in the living room is mounted in a corner between the ceiling and the wall, up too high to smash. At least my bedroom on the girls' wing is a clone of the one I had before. Same plastic mattress and bed frame built into the floor. A dinky 2-drawer dresser on the opposite wall. Okay, that smell. Fucking disgusting. Everything I own reeks so badly of garbage that even breathing through my mouth, I dry heave. Time to do laundry. Laundry room usage is always monitored, in case patients try to kill themselves by guzzling detergent. I tell the mental health tech, Janelle, that eating bleach isn't really my MO, and she tells me that I'll be at a higher clearance level, going on day passes before I know it. Good, because I'll need to hit up Winners and buy myself a whole new wardrobe if this third wash doesn't do the trick. Deep clean setting, hot water, and a cup of baking soda, along with a detergent, because Mom always does that for Lawrence's gym gear. First, I transfer the warm, wet mass of my clothes and a considerably less fluffy Stella Bear to the front-loading dryer. Add 5 scented fabric softener sheets to combat what's left of the smell. Next, I get out the shoebox grave, where I buried my journal for 2 hours in baking soda and even more fabric softener sheets. Time for a sniff test. Janelle clears a bunch of mismatched socks on top of the washer to do a drum roll as I go in for a whiff. Under the fresh laundry scent, there's some residual gross, but it's barely there compared to the stench from before. It'll do, I say, and she cheers. Then I spritz the front and back covers 3 times each with Febreze for good measure. And that's the first few pages of chapter 1 from my novel, A Drop in the Ocean.
And you guys are listening to Rethreading Madness on Vancouver Co-op Radio, CFRO 100.5 FM. I'm Bernadine Fox, and that was Léa Taranto. Léa, thank you for coming and chatting with us again. Unlike Isabella, this is not your first rodeo here on Rethreading Madness. I believe we interviewed you at the Mad Pride Cafe last year, actually.
Yes.
I believe, yeah. And just so everybody knows, Léa is a disabled Chinese Jewish Canadian writer who lives with OCD and comorbid disorders. Her debut novel, A Drop in the Ocean, was a finalist for the Governor General Literary Award and Forest of Reading's White Pine Award. Congratulations on those, Léa. You have participated in the event, A Word About Mental Health, and I believe that was just last month. Can you tell us a little bit about why you participated in this and what you got out of it?
I think that I kind of, like Isabella, really enjoy frank and heartening conversations about mental health. Having lived with OCD for as long as I can remember, or almost as long as I can remember, I think that it's just very important to kind of destigmatize and also educate folks about the different forms that OCD can take, because it's really just more than what we see on the television screens. And Isabella is like such an expert and kind human being. I think that by doing this, we're also able to build community and for folks to ask questions that maybe they would feel a little uncomfortable asking on their own, or even, I guess, just having more than a kind of brief answer, having a whole sustained conversation.
Mm-hmm. So I hate to put you on the spot, but what kind of questions do they ask?
Well, I think that one of the things we discussed was some of the intersectionality between disordered eating and obsessive compulsive disorder, as well as what it's like to have visible stigma, and how to deal with, I guess, when people maybe judge you based on things they see you doing or on just the way you look.
Right. So define visible stigma for folks.
Well, I would say maybe for the forms that it took for me were more related to how my compulsions were very repetitive and maybe strange looking to people who didn't understand what was going on, as well as just with disordered eating, being skinny in a way that is not considered attractive, but more pitying. And on the other side of that, having medications and gaining weight and experiencing fat phobia.
Mm-hmm. And of course, when you talk about repetitive compulsions, we all think of Sheldon on The Big Bang Theory and his absolute need to knock 3 times and say the person's. Have you seen that, Léa?
Yes, I have seen The Big Bang Theory. I think another thing that people often see when it comes to OCD is a lot of it cleanliness compulsions, and that is definitely a form OCD can take, but it takes so much more other forms as well. And the form that I kind of found most challenging in my youth was scrupulosity. which is more religious-based obsessions and compulsions.
Okay, you're going to have to describe that for me. What does that mean?
As somebody raised quite strictly Christian, I had a lot of fears on just the welfare of those close to me, and thought that I had committed sins in a past life and needed to atone by performing certain self-harm kind of compulsions. And that was a way that my religious OCD manifested.
Mm-hmm. Lynn, I'm going to try to drag you in here. I don't know. Were you there when Léa did her reading?
I was.
And what was it like for you? You're a participant. And just so people know, Lynn is a retired English professor who has become an advocate for brain health. Her work has included co-facilitating a support group in the Vancouver Coastal Health region for those who have families struggling around mental health challenges. So, and Lynn, you are a writer and a spiritual companion, so you understand the whole literary component of this event. So you were there when Léa did her reading and the questions that were asked. What did you observe?
Well, the first thing I want to say is that, to me, one of the central factors in being human is our ability to tell stories for ourselves, for each other, and with each other. And to me, a word about mental health is just a beautiful way to draw all of those functions of being human together. I happen to be a real cheerleader for Isabella because I think she's a wonderful writer and she's a wonderful human being. And I've watched her at work for the last probably at least 5 to 7 years, and been part of support groups where stories are being told. And I see Isabella as a listener. And that listening now has turned into this book, which I have found deeply, deeply moving and very, very helpful. So I've attended, I think, all of the programs, A Word About Mental Health. Then I would also add, if it's all right to go a little longer, that when I hear Léa reading, I hear someone who deserved to become a finalist for a GG. The literary value of her work to me is profound. Yeah. And as she was reading, I felt deeply moved. At moments, I felt like I wanted to chuckle. At other moments, I felt like I just wanted to break down and weep. And that is, to me, what good story is. What I love about Isabella's approach is taking the genre of someone who has been, as Léa has said, an expert in the field, someone who is a storyteller, a poet, and has the capacity to draw someone with deep brain function challenges into the process. To me, it's really quite mind-blowing.
That's very cool. And we're going to take a little break, folks, and we'll be right back.
Tanuyap, Quiget Yuans Quiensna. Hi, everybody. My name is Quiget Yuans. I'm a member of the Squamish Nation and the Yagalanas clan of the Haida Nation. You're listening to Co-op Radio, CFRO 100.5 FM. We live, work, play, and broadcast from the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations.
There's a whole crowd of people out there who need to learn how to do the scarn.
Don't ask questions you don't wanna know. Learn my lesson way too long ago. To be talking to you, Belladonna. Should've taken a break, not an Oxford comma. Take what I want when I want it, and I want you. Bad, bad news. One of us is gonna lose. I'm the powder, you're the fuse. Just add some friction. You are my strange addiction. You are my strange addiction. My doctors can't explain my symptoms or my pain, but you are my strange addiction.
I'm really really sorry. I think I was just relieved to see that Michael Scarn got his confidence back.
Yeah, Michael, the movie's amazing.
It's like one of the best movies I've ever seen in my life.
Deadly fever, please don't ever break. Be my reliever, 'cause I don't self-medicate. And it burns like a gin and I like it. Put your lips on my skin and you might ignite it. Hurts but I know how to hide it. Kinda like it. Bad, bad news. One of us is gonna lose. I'm the powder, you're the fuse. Just add some friction. You are my strange addiction. You are my strange addiction. My doctors can't explain my symptoms or my pain, but you are my strange addiction. Wipe my glass, set myself on fire. Can't you tell I'm cracked? Can't you tell I'm wired? Tell me nothing lasts, like I don't know. You could kiss my ass, skin about my motto.
You should enter it in festivals.
Or carnivals.
Well, that's a pretty good reaction. It's pretty cool. Right?
You are my strange addiction. You are my strange addiction. My doctors can't explain my symptoms or my pain, but you are my strange addiction.
You're listening to Rethreading Madness on Vancouver Co-op Radio, CFRO 100.5 FM. I'm Bernadine Fox, and I'm here speaking with Isabella Mori, Léa Taranto, and Lynn about a word about mental health, which is an event that happens approximately every 2 months that Isabella has organized for people to come and provide literary readings about stories that have to do with mental health, and then provide a space for question and answer, but also discussion from people who are in the audience and participating. Isabella, this all happens on Zoom, yes?
Yes, it does. Yeah.
And in the break, you were talking about how Léa's mother was at the event that Léa spoke about, and you were talking about some things about that, and I was hoping that you would repeat that for folks.
Yeah. So this was the first time that a friend or relative of the person who was reading was there, and it was just like really both interesting and very moving to kind of like triangulate the experience. In the book, the main character's mother plays an important role, and I understand that the book is a bit of a comes from Léa's experience. To see the mother's experience, to see her unflinching support and enthusiasm for her daughter's work, it just like it brings tears to my eyes just saying this. It was just absolutely wonderful.
That
Very
is
much
wonderful.
out in the mom department.
Yeah, you basically lucked out there. Not everybody can say they had a good mommy, so I certainly can't. So Lynn, one of the things that you talked about wanting to do when you came on here was to say a prayer. Are you able to do that?
I am. Shall I go right to it now?
Yes.
Oh, Creator, I need your strength and wisdom. I seek strength not to be greater than others, but to fight my greatest enemy, myself. Make me always ready to come to you with clean hands and a clear eye, without shame. And this is an Indigenous prayer that I say in honoring the lands on which I am an occupant.
Mm-hmm. And as we say here on CFRO, we are on the Musqueam and Squamish and Tsleil-Waututh Nations. That's where we're produced and air from. Léa, you were talking about something a little different. You were Hakaminan and Squamish speaking people.
Yes.
Yes. Isabella, I'm not sure where you live. I suspect it's Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh as well.
Yes, absolutely. Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh people. And I want to say that I'm just down the street from a beautiful park that it's called the Tea Swamp Park. And that alludes to the Labrador plant, which was an important indigenous plant. And I feel so lucky that I get to have this little physically felt connection to the land through this little park.
And Lynn, I believe you said you are also on the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations.
Yes, I am.
Territory, yes. It's interesting because I speak to people all over the world, and the idea of land acknowledgement is not so, it doesn't proliferate out there into the world. Lots of people go, huh? What are you talking about? And it's also true that we live at a time when there's performative types of allyship. And so it's really important that as we say these land acknowledgements that we really truly understand that this isn't performative. It is really about acknowledging that this land that we are on was never ceded, it's not under treaty, and it is stolen land. Lynn, how many of these have you gone to?
I think I've gone to all of them, and I think there have been 4. And the first one that I went to perhaps was before Isabella sort of chaptered it into a word about mental health, because it was her first book launch where her publisher and I were present, and the book was literally being launched into the space it now occupies.
So you've been to all of them. What do you get out of it?
Oh, well, thank you for asking that. What I get out of it is the joy of being present with others. And I do have to say that, I was kind of schooled on the Marshall McLuhan theories of communication, where, television and maybe, as we would say, Zoom would be cold media. But I have found that Zoom is actually quite a warm media. When we have our audio and video on, and just looking at the gallery view and seeing myself there along with other people is a form of, if I can use the word appropriately, it's a form of commemoration and worship of what it is to be a human person. And to me, these kinds of events are equally as important as any other kind of spiritual rite or ritual, where, Isabella is offering the sacrament of the word, and the people that she is with there are like co-celebrants, and also that the rest of us can receive together. And it's meant a tremendous amount to me. Now, if I could mention this as well, my older daughter attends with me. And when we were listening to Léa and hearing from her mother, we felt, I think, for the first time in, all of the time that we've dealt with brain health in our family, validated. Because there was a time when we were told that the only way for good health was for a mother and child to be individuated and separated from each other, so that someone could move on to adulthood. And there was a lot of therapy that was directed at us, and we actually ended up following that advice, and it proved to be nearly fatal.
Oh, I'm so sorry. That's so painful to hear, Lynn, actually. But it does sound that you have come through it, because I don't hear the fatality of that. I hear it as a stone, a stepping stone that you move through. And it also sounds that you've been you see what Isabella has done, although I don't think this is Isabella's intent, but she can speak to herself, that you do see what she does as something that is spiritual and that helps you in that way. So that's lovely.
Yes.
What do you think other people are getting out of it? Do you have any inside information on that?
Well, I kind of tend to watch for stats and other such things, and I've just noticed that each time there are more people. And the last group was not only a very healthy size for a Zoom book reading, but it was very active. And I know you won't believe this because it seems like I'm a professional talker, but neither my daughter and I said a single word because we did not have the opportunity during the whole event. It was so dialogue open, and people were participating in such a transparent and communicative way. And I loved being part of that.
And Isabella, what do you think people are getting out of it when they're being able to participate in that way?
What I hear from people is that they feel like their story is being, I wouldn't say necessarily heard, but there's a light being shone on whatever their individual journey is with their mental health. And yes, that they really like the interactive part of it. Again, like we don't have a lot of opportunity to talk to each other about all of these things. So hopefully this is a bit of a platform.
Yeah, it sounds like oh, sorry, Léa, go ahead.
Sorry, I found it very, I don't know about, I can see where Lynn is coming from with mentioning kind of the ceremony and church-like aspects, because it was very soul nourishing, being able to share about experiences and feel that validation and just have open and compassionate conversations.
And there actually isn't all that many places where you can do that in the world, right? I mean, we live in a culture that thinks that if you talk to them about, what harms you or hurts you, you're trauma dumping, and, everything is about go to see a therapist or go do this, but don't talk to me. And so when you set up these conversations, you really are setting up people to be able to talk to each other and share with each other. And I see what you're doing, Isabella, is kind of the same as what we do on Rethreading Madness, about taking issues and just providing an opportunity for people to see themselves and hear their own stories, their own ideas about what is true about life come out of somebody else, and that is life affirming, in my opinion.
And this is one of my passions. Often when I was still working, I would hear other counselors and therapists say, like, roll their eyes and say, "Oh my God, this person is going on and on and on," and I love hearing people's stories. I love the details. And I understand that things need to be repeated over and over and over again. That's how we process. So yeah, it's something as I said, like I feel very passionate about.
So we have to kind of wrap this up, unfortunately. But Isabella, tell us, how can people find out about what you're doing and sign up to participate? Is there a fee to participate?
And it's free. They're always announced on Facebook and on Blue Sky, and I also have a list of emails that I sent out. So I can give you my email address, which is very simple: Mori Therapy. My first name is Mori, Mori, and therapy, moritherapy@gmail.com. If you'd like to get on my email list. And as I said, like, it's on Facebook and it is on Blue Sky.
And how would they find you on Facebook and Blue Sky? Do you have a handle there?
It's just my name, Isabella Mori.
Okay. Isabella Mori. So that's ISAB as in baby, ELL, Larry's A, Mori as M as in mother, OR as in Raymond, I as in I. So thank you guys for coming and chatting with me. I actually really want to come and participate in one of these. Maybe I'll come to the next one. That's with Bonnie. Where is it? I have it here somewhere. Bonnie Nish, Dr. Bonnie Nish, who's a certified expressive arts therapist and educator and writer. And she talks about brain injury, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And you will be reading as well again, I take it?
Yes. And she will be reading from her material, and as I said, like talk about brain injury and also expressive arts therapy.
Right. Okay. Expressive arts, one of my fave things to have done. Yes. Anyway, so thank you guys. Thank you, Isabella. Thank you, Léa. Thank you, Lynn, for coming and chatting with me about this important project. And I'm looking forward to coming. I hope it's okay, Isabella, if I crash your party.
Oh, please do. Bring your friends.
Okay, I will. So the next one is on January 18th at noon, post
Yes.
Pacific Standard Time. So,
yeah.
And it's all on Zoom, so people can come from everywhere, so long as
Yes.
it's not the middle of the night for them, which it is somewhere in Europe, and Australia, which is probably the next day or something. I don't know. I can never set up an interview in Australia because I cannot get the time zone properly.
Actually, Australia and New Zealand are pretty easy because they're just, it's about 3 hours plus 24 hours minus 3, so it's easy. There's other time zones that are more difficult.
Isabel, I don't think you understand that not everybody's brain works like that. I mean, I can barely get the spring forward, fall back thing. Like what am I gaining an hour or losing?
I'm sorry.
Every time it's like I don't get it. So yeah, I just tell people don't count on me. I will get it wrong. I can't tell you how many times I've been careful to set up the time zone and be very, very diligent, and I still get it wrong. So my brain just doesn't work like that.
Well, it surprises me, Bernadine, because from what I've learned about you since we spoke, you're so accomplished at everything. I can't imagine you getting confused about the time.
Oh, yeah. No. Well, I mean, here you go. I cannot get a time zone if my life depended on it. I can't paint a tree at all. I did paint one once, but I literally took the brush and attacked it like I had a knife in my hands and just scribbled, and it turned out looking like a tree. But I couldn't replicate it if I tried. But thank you for saying that. I appreciate that, Lynn. So thank you guys, each of you, for coming and sharing your valuable information with us. And I will look forward to participating, Isabella.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And thanks. Yeah.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Lynn. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Léa.
Means a lot.
Léa.
Okay. Thank you very much.
All the best. Happy New Year.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Okay.
We'll be right back, folks.
Join Gennarji with guest hosts every Monday from 1 to 2:30 in the afternoon. When Spirit Whispers is where we explore treaties in BC, residential school stories, foster care, and ideas about truth and reconciliation in Canada, plus news on the news. Stop what you're doing when you listen to me, because you might believe what you hear and see, and what you don't believe is that which makes you free. Don't miss this great opportunity to become familiar with your First Nations people and the very pride that has kept us strong. When Spirit Whispers, Mondays at 1 p.m.
Yeah, I catch what I'm saying like a traveling line. There's more than you, and there's more than me, and there's plenty more online if you don't believe. And if you need some more convincing, spend the night alone in a residential school building. Sometimes the lights go out on their own.
A little bit of housekeeping. Isabella Mori comes to us after a 30-plus year career in social services. She is a prize-winning author of several books and was the past writer-in-residence at the historic Joy Kogagwa House. She is the inspiration behind Word About Mental Health, which is the event and program that we've been talking about here in this hour. She also wanted me to make sure you know that Michelle's last name is Rule and Thomas's last name is Mayhew. So that's Michelle Rule and Thomas Mayhew. The next word about mental health is happening January 18th at 2 p.m. online. If you want to attend, send an email to Isabella at moritherapy@gmail.com. That's M as in Mary, O-R as in Raymond, I-T as in Tom, H as in Harry, E-R as in Raymond, A as in Apple, P as in Peter, y@gmail.com. My thanks to Isabella Mori, Léa Taranto, and Lynn for chatting with me about the event Word About Mental Health. If you want to know more or would like to join them, you can do so from anywhere around the globe. Just email Isabella at the email address I just gave you to get on the invitation list. Léa's book, Drop in the Ocean, can be found online on Amazon, and Isabella Mori's book, Believe Me, is also available on Amazon. That's our show. Music today was by Sherry Ulrich, Billie Eilish, and Calum Scott. Thank you for joining us today, and stay safe out there. You've just listened to Rethreading Madness, where we dare to change how we think about mental health. We air live on Vancouver Co-op Radio, CFRO 100.5 FM, every Tuesday at 5 p.m. or online at coopradio.org. If you have questions or feedback about this program, or want to share your story, or have something to say to us, we want to hear from you. You can reach us by email, rethreadingmadness@coopradio.org. This is Bernadine Fox. We'll be back next week. Until then.
When I've never been further, knowing what the hell I'm gonna do. When I can't seem to find my way under or over or through. Just when I'm ready to give up the fight, there you are when we turn out the lights, and it's alright, it's alright, don't you worry, it'll be alright. Why do I always believe it when you tell me everything's gonna be alright? Yeah. Why don't I wonder how you know? Well, surely you don't have all of the facts. You could be just making it up. Why don't I ever think of that? It's some kind of magic in the words that you breathe, saying, baby, take it from me. It's alright, it's alright, don't you worry, it'll be alright. Why do I always believe it when you tell me everything's gonna be alright? Everything's gonna be alright. With anyone else, it's such a cliche, just words people say to be nice. Or someone